Hello everyone. So today in business studies class we will discuss what are the importance and limitations of planning. So starting with the importance, there are 7 importance of planning. First is it provides direction, it reduces the risk of uncertainty, overlapping and wasteful activities are reduced in planning, then it promotes the innovative ideas, facilitates decision making, establishes standard for controlling, and then focuses attention on objectives of the company. So we will discuss all the 7 in detail. So first is planning provides direction. All the efforts in planning is directed towards attainment of a particular goal. So it provides direction because managers, they or the employees in the organization, they know well in advance that what they are expected to do, so their efforts move in a particular direction. Then it reduces the risk of uncertainty. See, uncertainties are always there in the business, the risk is there. So planning is done after scanning the business environment, and then after doing all the research and assumptions about the future. So it reduces the risk of uncertainties. See, planning is made to overcome these uncertainties which are predicted in advance, or the probability of the risk is the probability of risk is assessed, and then planning is done. So it reduces risk. Now reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. Based on the objectives, all the departments, they are making their own plans. So there is a coordination among them, and there is no overlapping activities, and wasteful activities is reduced because all the departments, they are making their plans on the basis of top level plan, and their work is the departmental work is in coordination with each other. Their work is integrated towards achievement of organizational goal. Then it promotes innovative ideas. While planning, managers can incorporate new ideas, better methods of doing the work, better procedures. So planning facilitates, or it promotes innovation and creativity. Then it facilitates decision making. Since environment is scanned and assumptions are made, predictions are done, so on the basis of that, managers, they take decision for their future. So planning facilitates decision making. Then it establishes standard for controlling. Planning means setting of objectives. It involves setting of objectives which provides a basis for controlling the activities. Suppose the objectives for a particular period is set for increasing the sales by 20% or increasing the production by 20%. Then at the end of that period, whether that target is met or not, whether the activities are performed for achieving that particular target or not is evaluated, and then deviations, if any, in the work is evaluated, and then controlling is done. The corrections for those deviations are done. So planning provides standard for controlling function. Then it focuses attention on objective of the company. Since planning begins with setting up of the objectives and it is moving towards attainment of that objective, so the main focus of planning is on achievement of goals, and the employees follow the plans only. They follow the plans which are leading towards the achievement of the goal. So it focuses on achievement of objectives. Next is the limitations of planning. Now there are 7 limitations. First is planning leads to rigidity. Why planning is rigid? Once the plans are made, once the plans are determined, decided, then the managers are not in a position to change it, because the plans are already based on certain assumptions, then predictions. So much cost and time is involved in making the plans. So once planning is done, it becomes very rigid because it never allows the managers to make changes in them. That it may not work in dynamic environment. See, environment is dynamic, it is always changing, not at rest position. So that means whenever there is frequent change in the environment, whenever the changes in the environment are very frequent, then planning may not work in this if the situation changes. So planning may not work in this type of situation. And environment is also very complicated, it's very complex. One environmental dimensions of environment will affect the other dimension also, then it will affect the other dimension also. So it is very difficult to predict the future, so it may not work in dynamic environment. Then it reduces creativity. Why it is reducing creativity? Because managers, they become blind followers of the plans. What they feel is that if the plan has worked in past, then plan will also work in the future. So they blindly follow the plan and they rarely make any changes in the changes or modifications in the existing plan. Then it involves huge cost. See, many types of experts and professionals, they are hired and their services are taken, because planning is an intellectual process. Okay, so planning is an intellectual process. It involves the services of a lot of experts. So there, the salary or the money paid for hiring these experts is very high. So it involves huge cost. And the data which is required for planning also involves, the collection of data also involves a lot of cost there. Then it is time consuming process. See, arranging for or predicting the future, having assumptions for the future, and then evaluating, having alternatives, evaluating it involves a huge, a long time is required for this. Sometimes delay in decision making leads to unfavorable circumstances in the business. So sometimes when there is a need for prompt and immediate action, planning is not done. Okay, but when planning is done, it involves a huge time in that. Then planning does not guarantee success. Since always everything is changing, your environment is changing, the conditions are always changing, then it may not guarantee success. But what managers feel, they feel that if they have planned, planning gives a false sense of security. They feel that it will work. We have planned very well, so it will work in the future. But it gives a false sense of security, and they rarely consider the environmental changes. They rarely consider the changes, the modifications required in the plan. So it does not guarantee success. And last one is, it lacks accuracy, because we cannot predict the future 100%. 100% accuracy in prediction of the future, in assumptions about the future, is not actually possible. So that is why it lacks accuracy, and sometimes planning fails because of this. So these are the limitations of planning. In the next video, we'll see the process of planning and the different types of planning.